friends, Krista here. Thanks for stopping by Books and Jams. I'm here today to talk about my next round of 5-star predictions. I finally finished in July, I believe, my last round of 5-star predictions. I'm not very good about doing them in a timely manner, but I am hopeful to finish these 5 books that I've chosen today by about February, if possible. We'll see how that goes. But I have chosen 5 books here that are all highest rated according to some of my spreadsheets that I have. So very recently I posted a video talking about all my spreadsheets, and I thought I would go through some of my spreadsheets and rank my books by rating and then see which ones are the highest and pick from there. So the first spreadsheet I looked at was my Christmas book exchange spreadsheet because I've not been doing very good this year with reading off of my Christmas book exchange cart. It has a whole cart now because I have so many Christmas book exchange books, which is a fun project that I do with my BookTube besties, Sarah, Amanda, and Lindsay. You've heard me talk about them before. They all have channels. I will link them below. But these girls and I trade books every Christmas, and it's so much fun. And every year I give myself a goal of reading a certain number of them, and I'm way behind this year. So I have chosen 3 off of my Christmas book exchange cart, and all I did was sort them by highest rating to lowest, and I picked the top 3. So with a 4.63 rating, my first 5-star prediction is Beyond That, the Sea by Laura Spence Ash. Before I even did this video, I did not look at any of the summaries. So we're going to look at them together. I strictly chose them because of their rating. So we're going to see if I agree with the Goodreads rating. Now we know Goodreads ratings are sometimes a popularity thing, but sometimes that's because they're really good books. I guess we're going to find out. But this one is a sweeping, tender-hearted love story. Beyond That, the Sea introduces 2 families living through World War II on opposite sides of the Atlantic Ocean, and the shy, irresistible young woman who will call them both her own. So as German bombs fall over London in 1940, working-class parents Millie and Reginald Thompson make an impossible choice. They decide to send their 11-year-old daughter Beatrix to America, where they hope she'll stay safe. Scared and angry, Bea arrives in Boston to meet the Gregorys, who fold her into their world. She adjusts to their affluent lifestyle and grows close to both Gregory boys, one older and one younger, filling the gap in between them. Before long, before she even realizes it, life in America feels more natural to her than her quiet, spare world back in England. As Bea comes into herself and relaxes into summers on the coast in Maine, the girl she had been begins to fade away until abruptly she is called home to London when the war ends. Desperate as she is not to leave the Gregorys behind, she dutifully retraces her trip across the Atlantic. As she returns to post-war London, the memory of her American family stays with her, never fully letting her go as she tries to move on, pursuing love and a life of her own. I just feel like this is going to be such a great story. In a different aspect of the war. I mean, we've heard of stories of kids being sent away, but never like, what about after the fact? What about after they get sent away? So yeah, maybe this is going to be a 5-star. It sounds really good. I'm very interested. The second highest that I haven't read yet is A View Across the Rooftops by Suzanne Kelman, and this is a 4.44 rating. This is another World War II, Amsterdam, 1941. One man will risk everything to save a life. I do remember, I think this is about a teacher who hides one of his students or something. Would you risk your life to save just one person? Nazi-occupied Amsterdam in 1941, Professor Joseph Held has never recovered from the loss of his beloved wife and has no intention of ever letting anyone new into his quiet, safe world. It's a world where the clock ticks steadily in his mathematics classroom, where every equation has a solution. Every day he walks the same route home past his neighbor, Mrs. Epstein's, to a house inhabited only by him and a cat he refuses even to name. But then the Nazis come for the Jews and Mrs. Epstein is killed, and Joseph, in an impulsive act of courage, offers his student Michael Blum a place to hide. Michael is everything Joseph is not, spontaneous, poetic, and unafraid to love, even though his passionate relationship with a Dutch girl called Elke is strictly forbidden by the Nazis, for he is Jewish and she is not. Desperate to give Michael and Elke's love a chance to survive, Joseph gives him refuge in his attic, an act of bravery and resistance that will change both of their lives. But as the dark days of war continue, with danger and betrayal at every turn, no one can be trusted and no one is safe. If Michael is going to get back to the woman he loves, it is down to Joseph to find the hero inside of himself and do whatever it takes to keep Michael alive. a heartbreakingly beautiful story about love, friendship, and courage against the odds. Perfect for fans of The Tattooist of Auschwitz, which I didn't love. Lilac Girls, which I did love, and The Nightingale, which I did love. So we'll see. Sounds interesting. A teacher trying to save the life of one of his students and his student's forbidden love story. I think that this could be a hit. We shall see. We shall see. And the third Christmas book exchange book with the highest rating that I have not yet read is Amulet by Anne Bennett. And this has a 4.36 rating. And I don't remember anything about it. So let's see. It is, again, a World War II book. All three of these. So even though some people say they don't love World War II books anymore and that the market is oversaturated, there is still a group of people, clearly, who love them. This one's a little interesting because it takes place in Singapore, which I have never read about that part of the world during the war. So after her mother's death, Lara discovers a beautiful amulet amongst her belongings, engraved with the words, "For Surya." Expecting Surya to be the grandmother she never met, Lara travels to Singapore to find out why her mother was committed to the care of a local orphanage during World War II. In 1941, Surya, a poor Malay girl working in a tailor shop and living in a communal warehouse, is befriended by a British officer, Charles Simmons. They start to grow close, but war threatens to engulf Singapore and tear them apart. While delving into her grandmother's past, Lara is forced to confront betrayal and brutality as she learns some disturbing truths about families and friendships. Interesting. So we're going to have an orphanage, which I'm down with that. Grandmother's story, a little bit of a love story in there. And I just like that it takes place in Singapore about a Malaysian girl. I'm here for it. So we'll see if these three Christmas book exchange books are hits for me. Then I went to my book of the month spreadsheet and easily skipped the first highest because the first highest is nonfiction, Cast. And I think Cast is going to be amazing, but I don't want to read it right now. The second one, the second highest on my book of the month shelf, is one that I have wanted to read this year. So I'm thrilled to say my next 5-star prediction is Take My Hand by Dolan Perkins Valdez. I have had this on a TBR a couple different times this year, I feel like. This has a 4.39 rating. So I think just over Amulet. This one takes place in Montgomery, Alabama in 1973. Sybil Townsend is fresh out of nursing school. She intends to make a difference, especially in her African-American community. At the Montgomery Family Planning Clinic, she hopes to help women shape their destinies, to make their own choices for their lives and bodies. But when her first week on the job takes her along a dusty country road to a worn-down one-room cabin, Sybil is shocked to learn that her new patients, Erica and India, are children, just 11 and 13 years old. Neither of the Williams sisters has even kissed a boy, but they are poor and Black, and for those handling the family's welfare benefits, that's reason enough to have the girls on birth control. As Sybil grapples with her role, she takes India, Erica, and their family into her heart, until one day she arrives at their door to learn the unthinkable has happened and nothing will ever be the same for any of them. And then decades later, with her daughter grown and a long career in her wake, Dr. Sybil Townsend is ready to retire, to find her peace and to leave the past behind. But there are people and stories that refuse to be forgotten and that must not be forgotten, because history repeats, but what we don't remember. I just know this is going to be so good. Partly it reminds me of Necessary Lies by Diane Chamberlain, which I really, really love, but that also highlighted the horrors of the welfare system in the 1960s in the United States that continued on for way too long. And this is 1973. So I think this is going to be a hard-hitting, emotional read, and I am always here for that. So that's my fourth one. For my fifth choice, I took a look at my BookTube recommends list. Every year I ask you guys for recommendations, and this year is the same, and I had ratings to them from Goodreads so that I can rank them and all that, just like I do with all my spreadsheets. And the highest rated one that I have not yet read this year is The Lost Melody by Joanna Davidson Politano. I'm really excited. This is a Christian fiction that I've heard so much about. I love books that have music in it. already into that. But let's see what this one is about. When concert pianist Vivienne Mordaunt's father dies. Okay. Already personal connection, right? He leaves to her the care of a patient at Hurstwell Asylum. Vivienne had no idea the woman existed, and yet her portrait is shockingly familiar. When the asylum claims that she was never a patient there, Vivienne is compelled to discover what happened to the figure she remembers from childhood dreams. The longer she lingers in the deep shadows and forgotten towers at Hurstwell, the fuzzier the line between sanity and madness becomes. She hears music no one else does, receives strange missives with rose petals between the pages, and untangles far more than is safe for her to know. But can she uncover the truth about the mysterious woman she seeks? And is there anyone at Hurstwell she can trust with her suspicions? So yeah, asylum, falsely put at an asylum, it sounds like similar to Lost Girls of Willowbrook, maybe. That type of vibe I'm getting here. Haunting, riveting, filled with hope. Whew, I'm very excited. So this is my list. Honestly, I'm very excited about these 5 books. And we're going to see if the ratings on Goodreads, and according to my spreadsheets, we're going to see if the ratings on Goodreads match what I think. Am I going to give these ones 5 stars? From listening to their descriptions, what do you think? Have any of them sparked your interest? Have you read any of them? Are you positive I'm going to give any of them 5 stars? I would love to hear from you. I need to stop talking. So that is going to be it for me today. I would love to chat with you down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you being here. Hopefully by the time you see this, I am fully healed, because who knows when this is going to go up. I just wanted to get it filmed today. But I do appreciate you, and I look forward to chatting with you in another video very soon. Bye.